Your Credit Matters, brought to you by creditsanitizer.com. And yes, we do have the folks from Credit Sanitizer. They're going to be coming on and visiting us the early part of next month. Blue Water Credit is our partner with this and love their services. We have a lot of folks that are getting help from our friends over at Blue Water Credit. And they're going to be visiting with us the early part or the first half of next month. How long does bad credit last? That's a good question. How long someone has bad credit depends on how long they continue to create negative credit activity. Almost as soon as you start making credit improving moves, you may see positive impacts in your score. However, old activity can still haunt your report for a while after you start improving your credit situation. Luckily, you can still have a decent or even excellent score with negative marks on your report. We're going to continue here so you understand how long activity stays on your report and what you can do if you have a poor credit history. So how long do things stay on your credit report? In general, items stay on your report for a range between 2 and 10 years. But negative activity has less effect on your score as it ages. Positive credit activity, such as managing accounts well and making payments on time, can remain on your report for up to 10 years. But by keeping accounts open, you can stretch this much longer. For example, you can continue to use old credit cards from time to time to keep the account active. Different types of negative activity have certain limits according to the Fair Credit Reporting Act. This regulates how long account activity can continue to be reported. Lenders do not necessarily continue to report activity for the entire limit. How long does the good stuff stay on my credit report? In general, the general life of positive information on your credit report, up to 10 years. After 10 years, a closed account typically ages off your report, taking any positive information with it. However, if you keep an account open and in good standing, it can provide a potentially positive impact on your credit for as long as it stays open and active on your credit report. For example, if you've had the same credit card account for 20 years and have always paid on time, that's positive information that remains on your report. It also helps increase the age of your credit, which is good for your score. If you can do so without tempting yourself to run up debt, keep old credit card accounts open and use them from time to time, making sure to pay off the balances immediately. This helps keep those accounts active and reporting to the credit bureaus, which can be beneficial for your score. How do we do that? Well, here's the answer. Set up auto pay. So you've probably got somewhere between 3 and 5 items that you're paying for every single month. Your cell phone bill, your internet bill, your gas bill, your electric bill, your cable bill. Maybe there may be a few others on there as well. If they don't charge you, if they do not charge you extra for paying with a credit card, set them up on auto pay with your credit card. Then you know basically what those are going to be. For instance, I went to the gas company and said I wanted a flat rate payment on my gas bill. So I have the exact same payment every single month for 6 months, and then they adjust it. So I can go in and have it set up to pay on one of my credit cards, and they make the payment when it's due every single month, so I'm always on time. But I know when that's going to happen. So I go in, and 2 days after that item has hit my credit card, or 3 days, I have a payment go to the credit card for that amount. It goes automatically from my checking account right to the credit card company. What does that do for me? Well, it keeps the credit card active because it's being used every single month, and it keeps the utilization rate low because I pay it off every single month. So I've got the benefit of both ends of that. Now, I recommend that if you're doing this, make 2 payments a month, one right away. And then make sure that you've got a minimum payment set up with your bank, so it goes right to your credit card every month right before the payment due date. So by doing that, you're going to maximize your FICO scores. But I digress. You can see a whole educational piece on this rsrccpayment.com. rsrccpayment.com. I'll show you how to maximize paying your credit cards. Now, you might say, Ron, I pay my credit cards in full right after I get the bill. Wonderful. You didn't help your FICO score at all. Go to the video, rsrccpayment.com. Let's get back to it. How long does negative information stay on your credit report? Well, that varies. The Fair Credit Reporting Act, FCRA, explains the limits on reporting the different kinds of derogatory marks, though some of these limits also may vary according to state law. Here's how long incidents of negative credit history generally remain on consumer reports as mandated by the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Late payments, 7 years. Late payments can be reported for as long as 7 years from when the delinquency occurred. Let's say you missed a credit card payment several years ago and you still use the credit card. You also make your payments on time after that past late payment. Once the late payment is 7 years old, the delinquency generally cannot be included in the history of the account on your report. If you miss a payment by accident, call your issuer to see if they might agree to not report it to the credit bureaus or waive the late fee. Many credit card companies will agree to do so if your payment history was stellar up until the misstep. Get everything you need to master your credit today. Again, visit creditsanitizer.com. Charge-offs. Those are there for 7 years. Accounts you didn't pay, like a charged-off credit card or installment loan balance, can stay on your credit report for 7 years from the date the debt was charged off. A charge-off is when the creditor officially writes your debt off its books as a loss. Keep in mind that a creditor writing off your unpaid debt as a loss does not mean you don't owe the debt. Your creditor may sell your charged-off debt to a collection agency for pennies on the dollar. The collection agency may then attempt to collect the debt anew. Even if a debt has been charged off, consider contacting the original creditor to negotiate a settlement. Since the debt is old and less likely to be paid, the creditor may be willing to accept less than what you owe to consider the matter closed. Our friends again, Blue Water Credit, creditsanitizer.com, they can help with this because they know how to negotiate this to get that settled and potentially off your credit report. Foreclosures and short sales, those are 7 years. A foreclosure can remain on your credit report for 7 years from the date the foreclosure was filed. The same goes for a short sale, which could show up on your credit report as a charge-off, a settlement, a deed in lieu of foreclosure, or settled for less than the full amount due. No matter how it's reported, a short sale is considered a derogatory event. If you can't pay your mortgage due to financial hardship, contact your lender as soon as possible. You may be eligible for various relief programs, including situational programs such as COVID mortgage relief or lender programs such as restructuring or forbearance. We're talking about how long does bad credit last on your credit report. Hard inquiries is the next one up. 2 years for hard inquiries. There are two kinds of inquiries and only one, a hard inquiry, hurts your credit score. Soft inquiry, like an account review by your current credit card issuer, will not harm your credit score. Hard inquiries occur when you apply for credit, like a new credit card, and your potential lender is evaluating your application. A hard inquiry will ding your credit score, but it won't last too long. Hard inquiries only remain on your credit report for 2 years and only affect your credit score for around 12 months. Most credit scoring models, group inquiries that are for the same type of loan, like a mortgage, for 14 to 15 days, depending upon the scoring model. This allows borrowers to comparison shop lenders. If you're planning to shop auto, student, or mortgage loans, apply to them all within a short period of time to ensure your credit score is only hit once. Collection accounts, 7.5 years. A collection account can remain on your credit report for 7 years plus 180 days from the date of the delinquency that immediately preceded collection activity. For example, say you were inconsistent with your cable bill. You missed it in January, but caught up in February, only to miss it again in March and April. At that point, your cable company sends the bill to a debt collector. That collection account can remain on your credit report for 7 years plus 180 days from the date your bill was due in March. While evictions don't show on your credit report, the collections account can if your landlord turns you in for unpaid rent. Here's the part that a lot of people don't like. Whether or not you paid the collection account, it can still stay on your report for that period unless it is a medical debt collection. Those now fall off when they are paid. Some credit scoring models don't factor in collection accounts once they're paid, but many do. That's why you need to go to creditsanitizer.com, talk to our friends over at Blue Water Credit, and have them help negotiate the relief. They might be able to negotiate to get it off your credit report. Bankruptcies, 7 to 10 years. Bankruptcies show up in public records section of your reports. Chapter 7 bankruptcies may be reported for 10 years from the filing date. Discharge Chapter 13 bankruptcies are generally removed after 7 years from the filing date. While you're in the process of bankruptcy, especially at Chapter 13, you can still make a positive impact on your score. Make timely payments and manage credit responsibly to help rebuild your credit following bankruptcy. Do you still have to pay the debt off if it fell off your credit report? If it's older than the reporting limit, debt can fall off your credit report even if you haven't fully paid it. Just because the debt isn't affecting your credit score does not mean you aren't still obligated to pay it. If the debt is still within the statute of limitations for the state where it has occurred, lenders can simply attempt to collect it, depending on the circumstances. This could mean garnishing your wages or attempting to collect payments through other legal measures before lenders or collection agencies can take these steps. However, they must win a judgment against you for the debt in court. Does your credit score improve when negative items fall off your report? Your score may improve when the negative items fall off your report. The change may not be drastic, though. Negative items have less impact as they age. I told you that before. So they may only cause a negligible impact on your score by the time they're ready to age off your report. Working on improving your credit by adding positive items while you wait for negative ones to fall off your report can help you improve faster. Disputing incorrect credit items, because negative items can have a lasting impact on your score. It's important to make sure you dispute any incorrect negative items if you think a collection account is listed more than once or the date is wrong. You may have a reason to challenge the accuracy of the item and get it removed from your report. Again, creditsanitizer.com. I know they charge a little bit of money, but it is well worth it, and it can help you in the long run. That's your Credit Matters segment, brought to you by creditsanitizer.com. You have a credit report. It is wrong. What are you doing about it?